Mr. Carey McClure is an electrician and a resident of Griffin, Georgia. We welcome him. He enjoys fishing, playing games with friends, and spending time with his children and grandchildren. We welcome Mr. McClure.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, good morning. My name is Carey McClure. I'm from Griffin, Georgia. I'm an electrician, and I'd like to thank you for holding this hearing to give me a chance to tell my story. I've been an electrician for over 20 years. I've always wanted to be an electrician, and I've loved to do it. When I was 15 years old, I was diagnosed with facial scapular humerus muscular dystrophy. As the results of my condition, the muscles in my face, back, and upper arms are weak. I have constant pain in my shoulders, and I'll now show you how high I can lift my arms in the air. That's the highest they will go. But like so many other people with disabilities, I found ways to live with my condition. For instance, I use a step stool in the kitchen so I can reach the cabinets. When I shampoo my hair, I support one hand with the other to get my hand over my head, like this. I do much the same to comb my hair, brush my teeth. Instead of wearing t-shirts, I generally wear button-down shirts, which don't require me to raise my arms over my head. And when I eat, I hold my head over my plate and prop my elbow on the table so that I can raise the fork or spoon to my mouth. The point is, my muscular dystrophy does not stop me from living my life. There is virtually nothing I can't do. Unfortunately, General Motors didn't feel the same way. My father and brother both worked for General Motors, so you could say that General Motors practically raised me. General Motors supported our family, it pays well, and offers good benefits. For as long as I can remember, it's been a dream job for me. In September of 1999, I applied for an electrical position at the General Motors assembly plant in Arlington, Texas. The following month, General Motors invited me to fly out to its Texas assembly plant and take a written and practical exam. I passed both of them. In December of 1999, GM sent me a letter offering me a job and asked me to take a pre-employment physical. I called back and accepted the job and scheduled an appointment with the GM plant medical director for January 5th, about a week before I started my job. In the meantime, I got ready for the big move. I quit my electrical job at the roofing company, sold my house in Griffin, Georgia, withdrew my daughter from high school, and packed up all the things we needed in anticipation of the relocation. When I got to Texas, I went to the plant medical director's office for my physical exam. The physical went fine until the doctor asked me to lift my arms above my head, which I could not do. The doctor asked me hypothetically how I could reach electrical work above my head. I told him I'd get a ladder. He asked, what if a ladder would not reach high enough? I told him I'd get a taller ladder. For over 20 years, I've been an electrician. For over 20 years, I've been working on things above my head without a problem. Sometimes I throw my arms above my head and lock my elbows. Most of the time, there's something that I can prop my arm against so I can reach it just like if I'm brushing my teeth. Other times, all it takes is a step stool or to have a ladder or a hydraulic lift, as other electricians use. When I toured the GM plant, I saw people using hydraulic lifts just like I used every other job I had. But this doctor wouldn't hear it. He didn't think I could do the job that I've been doing my entire life. He recommended that GM revoke my job offer, and that's exactly what they did. An assistant gave me the bad news, and I just stood there stunned. I had just quit the previous job, sold my house, packed my bags, relocated my family from Georgia to Texas for the dream job I'd been trying to get my whole professional life. General Motors had just taken my dream job away from me. I didn't know much about the ADA, but I knew that I had a disability and that GM took the job away from me because of my disability. Not because I couldn't do the work of an electrician. I can do the job. That's the bottom line. So I found a lawyer and we filed a lawsuit. During my lawsuit, General Motors asked me all sort of personal questions like how I combed my hair, how I brushed my teeth. They asked me how I played with my grandchildren. They asked me how I bathed and how I cleaned my house. They even asked me how I'd have intercourse. They asked me things that didn't need to know, that did not have anything to do with the work at the GM plant. Even though GM revoked my job offer for my disability, GM lawyers started arguing with the court that I did not have a disability at all. Well, you can't have it both ways. Am I disabled or not? If I am, then the ADA should have been there to protect me. If I'm not, then I should be working with my father and brother both at General Motors right now. Unfortunately, the courts agreed with GM. The trial court said to me, quote, "The ability to overcome the obstacles that life has placed in my path is admirable," unquote. But in light of my abilities, I was no longer disabled because I had adapted so well to living with my muscular dystrophy and made myself a productive member of the workforce for over 20 years. The court said that I wasn't protected by the ADA, and that doesn't make any sense to me. As I told the court who heard my case, if someone who is suffering from an undisputable muscular dystrophy is not an individual with a disability under the ADA, then who is? The court told me that they were interpreting the ADA like the Supreme Court told them to, and that my problem was with the Supreme Court, not them. Well, you can do something about the Supreme Court interpretation of the ADA. For the sake of the people with disabilities like me who want to work but are discriminated against, I hope you will. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak.